Dijonai, how come every time there's a foul, a questionable foul, a flagrant foul, a smack across the face, a fingernail in the eye?
The Unrivaled League is erupting with turmoil. In a jaw-dropping moment, Dijonai Carrington slaps Kate Martin mid-game, an unexpected and blatant foul that has left both fans and competitors stunned. With Caitlyn out of reach, Dijonai directs her aggression toward Kate, igniting chaos on the court.
What really happened here, man, with Dijonai. Okay. Nice pass. Oh, man. So you're going to help her up right after you clobber her like that, right? You're going to help her up after you clobber her like, didn't even look at her. Oh, she's so shady.
Dijonai Carrington is once again grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons, sparking debates about her notorious reputation for playing aggressively. This time, her focus shifted to none other than Kate Martin, who has become the latest casualty of Carrington's contentious strategies.
If she can't get to Caitlyn, she'll just settle for Kate.
As Martin advanced past Carrington, the defender executed what seemed like an overly aggressive maneuver. Instead of challenging the ball within the bounds of fair play, Carrington swung a dubious arm toward Martin, making contact in a manner that sent the Iowa standout sprawling to the ground. The impact of the foul left Martin visibly distressed, clutching her side as officials promptly signaled the play and rushed to evaluate the situation.
Being reported that Kate Martin gets annoyed over Dijonai Carrington's physical defense during Unrivaled. WNBA standout Kate Martin didn't seem to appreciate the physical defense Dijonai Carrington played on her during Unrivaled League. And I'm telling y'all right now, we already know how she coming, bruh. She's very handsy with her style of play, and she's not the only one. It's a lot of ladies in this league that play like that.
Replay footage underscored the gravity of the incident. The arm movement wasn't accidental. It seemed deliberate, sparking accusations that Carrington had reverted to her previous aggressive playing style to secure an advantage. Martin, renowned for her toughness and sportsmanship, was left lying on the court, requiring assistance to regain her footing. Fortunately, after a brief evaluation, she was able to continue playing, though the effects of the moment lingered.
She has hurt her nose again. I don't know if it's broken or not, but I think Kate's just toughness, resiliency, and leadership is the biggest thing. And I mean, you see it, like, Kate's a pro player. Like, you see her game, she's hitting fadeaway jump shots, she's going at people.
Additionally, Kate has injured her nose once more. Whether it's broken remains unclear, but Kate's toughness, resilience, and leadership are undeniably her greatest strengths. You can see it in her gameplay. She's a seasoned professional sinking fadeaway jump shots and fiercely challenging her opponents. If you're familiar with Dijonai Carrington's history, you know she has a notorious reputation for dirty tactics. True to form, Carrington's latest on-court actions have once again taken center stage, sparking widespread outrage. Last season, Dijonai Carrington's questionable tactics were on full display during a heated matchup against Caitlin Clark, an incident that remains one of the most discussed controversies in WNBA history.
WNBA Twitter is currently crashing out over Black Eye Gate. I'm sure we've seen by now this play where Dijonai Carrington pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. And after seeing this angle, so many people are saying that it was intentional, right? Dijonai goes up to steal the ball, and when she comes down, her hand goes like this, straight into Caitlin's eye. Do I think that this was a reckless play? Yes. Do I think that she did it with the intent to hurt Caitlin Clark? No. Do I think it should have been called a foul?
Carrington's notorious eye poke not only left Clark sporting a noticeable black eye, but also ignited a whirlwind of criticism throughout the league. Fans and analysts alike condemned the brazen act, with Indiana Fever supporters at the forefront, branding Carrington as a dirty player. For many, that moment wasn't merely a momentary lapse in judgment, but a pivotal instance that showcased her readiness to push the limits. Now, following her recent confrontation with Kate Martin, these allegations feel more substantiated than ever as Carrington appears intent on cementing the very reputation she has long sought to distance herself from.
It did not stop one Dijonai Carrington. Of course, she's the person that multiple times had, egregious altercations with Caitlin Clark last year, including the eye poke, the eye gouge, the eye scoop out of Caitlin Clark's head, heard round the world last year, as well as whatever that ridiculous flop and gyration was during one of those games.
The matchup against Martin ignited tension from the very beginning. The Iowa star was unstoppable, her swift movements and accurate shooting overwhelming Carrington. Martin was a constant presence on the court, effortlessly slicing through defenses, orchestrating plays, and maintaining her composure under intense pressure.
Here, as the camera pans over, she reaches in and swipes at the ball, but how hard are you going to do it exactly? You trying to break somebody's arm? Look at that. Look at that. Boom. You know, it's the small things that ain't great.
What made the incident even more striking was the composure Martin exhibited in stark contrast to Carrington's aggression. Recently stepping into a more prominent role and receiving increased playing time, Martin demonstrated precisely why she has earned the trust of her coaches and teammates. While Carrington appeared eager to unsettle her opponent, Martin remained calm, maintaining her focus and consistently performing at a high level. Her ability to stay unfazed despite Carrington's provocations further solidified the perception that Martin is swiftly emerging as one of the league's most promising talents.
What are we doing? We trying to break an arm now on top of it? This person just says it. It's almost assault. Good grief. That looked like break my arm, bro.
Dijonai Carrington's attempt to disrupt Martin wasn't just ineffective, it seemed like an admission of frustration. Throughout the game, Martin showcased her expanding skill set, executing plays with precision, making intelligent decisions, and sinking crucial shots when it mattered most. Despite Carrington's efforts, she couldn't contain Martin, and the foul only highlighted the disparity in their performances. For fans watching, it was evident that Carrington's actions reflected a player struggling to adapt to an opponent who was simply outperforming her. This isn't the first time Carrington has employed such tactics. Known for her fiery demeanor on the court, her approach often treads the fine line between competitive and reckless. Did you catch the latest? Ben Shapiro just took down Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson over her ridiculous comments about Caitlin Clark.
So one of the bizarre controversies of the last week is Caitlin Clark, who is the WNBA's only nameable star. Here, for example, is WNBA team owner Sheila Johnson. Here she is, ripping Caitlin Clark and the fan base for liking Caitlin Clark, saying it's only because Caitlin Clark is white.
In what might as well be an Olympic gold medal for bad takes, Sheila's claiming that Clark didn't deserve Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year title, basically suggesting that everyone in the WNBA should be recognized, except for Caitlin Clark.
Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing.
You heard that right. This is the ultimate everybody gets a trophy mentality, but cranked up to the max. Shapiro wasted no time shredding Johnson's argument, using his signature rapid-fire style to highlight just how ridiculous her position really is.
You're not putting the entire WNBA on the cover because not everybody can fit and nobody knows who any of those people are. By the way, 31% apparently of the entire Washington Mystics ticket sales this year came in 2 games. I will give you a guess as to which player was featured in those 2 games.
Exactly. Not everyone can fit inside the spotlight, and definitely not the entire WNBA. As for this talk of upliftment, let's not forget that 31% of the Washington Mystics' annual revenue has come from games featuring Caitlin Clark and her team. Are we seriously supposed to pretend Caitlin Clark isn't single-handedly bringing fresh energy to a league that's been struggling to stay relevant?
Look, I'm going to be completely honest about this. I thought what Wizards owner Sheila Johnson said about Caitlin Clark came off as racist. Sheila Johnson is the black billionaire owner of the NHL's Washington Capitals, the NBA's Washington Wizards, and the WNBA's Washington Mystics. Johnson said she did not agree with Time magazine making Caitlin Clark the first ever WNBA player to be Athlete of the Year.
Sheila's claim that Caitlin Clark's success somehow undermines the rest of the league definitely carries a whiff of something darker. It's hard to ignore how that perspective reeks of racism, whether she intended it or not.
And with putting Caitlin Clark on the cover. Johnson said the entire WNBA should have been chosen as the League of the Year and that numerous stars should have been put on the cover. She said the WNBA has a long legacy of black stars and that, and I quote, "Something clicked with the WNBA last year because of the draft. It's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Reese." As in, of course, Chicago's Angel Reese.
Seriously? Angel Reese doesn't even come close to Caitlin Clark, both in skill and popularity. So why is Sheila so eager to downplay Clark's accomplishments? It's almost like she's trying to diminish something that clearly stands out on its own.
Johnson said, and I quote, "There's so much talent out there that's unrecognized, and I don't think we can pin it on just one player. When you single out one, it creates hard feelings," end of quote. Johnson said, "What's been happening to black players on social media," and I quote, "has got to stop," in that, and I quote again, "this division of racism is going to tear us apart," end quote.
Exactly. Are we seriously going to stop celebrating a player just because others are feeling threatened or jealous? That doesn't sit right, does it? This is straight up unfair treatment. Sheila should be recognizing greatness, not trying to undermine it.
Johnson is saying to me, the majority of WNBA players are black and have always been black, that basketball belongs more to black players than to white, and that it's not healthy for the league to have a white player featured as Athlete of the Year on the cover of Time. Now, I'm pretty sure if WNBA MVP Asia Wilson had made the cover of Time as Athlete of the Year, Johnson wouldn't have had any problem with that. Just not the white girl.
Absolutely. What Sheila's implying is that we should start picking and choosing who gets praise based on the color of their skin, rather than their talent or achievements. It's absurd on so many levels, and frankly, it's a huge disservice to the game and the players who deserve recognition.
But this person put this on as a quote to this video. Sheila Johnson's worth $850 million, and she doesn't put a penny back into the neighborhood she comes from. Very interesting. She doesn't even come back to her high school to show little black girls that they can become her. My little cousins go to the same high school. They don't even know she exists. Very interesting indeed.
Did you catch that? It turns out Sheila might be guilty of the very thing she's accusing Caitlin Clark of. That's right. She supposedly doesn't do charity or encourage the black kids in her community to become billionaires like herself. Talk about hypocrisy at its finest, folks.
Well, the league has always been woke, has always had an agenda. The league and the sports media, the establishment sports media that is, and their surrogates. Always, and they pride themselves on that.
It's become pretty clear that the WNBA has a lot of politics playing out behind the scenes. Could this be what's been holding the league back all these years? It's hard not to wonder if these power struggles and biases are part of the reason the league hasn't reached the level of recognition and success it deserves.
But since Caitlin Clark stepped into the waters with the Time magazine interview, it's almost like you're gonna see more people, more comments, more demands. You're gonna see it's gonna be less and less about basketball, what you want to see, and it's gonna be a whole lot of this stuff, because it's like she ripped off another layer of the onion, and this one is a big one. And so now people feel like they can just go all in.
Exactly. Sheila's opposition to Caitlin Clark seems rooted in the fact that, like many so-called woke figures, she's recognized that Clark isn't playing by the usual political playbook. Instead of bending to certain narratives or pushing an agenda, Clark is simply focused on earning her success through talent. And that's something that doesn't sit well with people who expect athletes to follow their scripted roles.
But this, of course, is the Mystics owner that said that Caitlin Clark should give up her Time Magazine award and give it to the entire WNBA. Of course, that has now become a running joke, and the mother of all community checks came down here and nailed her. 31% of Mystics' total home attendance for the 2024 season came from the 2 games versus Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
Newsflash, Sheila, sports thrive on competition, not on the equality of outcome. Claiming that Caitlin Clark doesn't deserve to be singled out is like saying LeBron James should share his accolades with the benchwarmers just because of team effort. That's not how greatness works. Individual brilliance deserves recognition, and Clark has earned every bit of it.
It's important that we say, you know what? You want to go all in? You want to go in, people with a lot of nonsense? Then guess what? We're going to go in too, and we're going to expose the nonsense.
Exactly. A lot of these racist attitudes flourish when there's no pushback or challenge. That's why speaking out isn't just an option, it's a responsibility. If we stay silent, we're allowing these harmful views to persist unchecked. It's crucial to stand up and call out hypocrisy when we see it.
What it is. A lot of times, like you, we just want to let's just play basketball. But then when they start saying nonsense, like when the owner of a WNBA team, Sheila Johnson, Washington Mystics, when she says some of the stuff like she said that people are talking about today, it's like, okay, you want to play hardball? Then let's play.
Absolutely. Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player. She's a mythical juggernaut and a cultural icon. She's rewriting the rules of the game, and her numbers prove it. She's not just good, she's the best. And anyone who tries to deny that is ignoring the undeniable facts.
I'm literally lost for words knowing what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal point in my life. She was the only person, which is interesting since she's been...
He didn't pay some bills, baby. I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally. I'm trying to think of like my rent for where I stay.
Angel Reese has just demonstrated that being cheap isn't merely a personality trait. It's a deliberate lifestyle choice, and she's embracing it fiercely during her basketball offseason. She decided that a little extra money was worth completely tarnishing her image, prompting her to pursue a bold career path.
I'm a beautiful girl. Like, I'm a beautiful woman. I've been posting pictures in my bikini. I got a nice body and I work hard for it. And if I want to post a picture in my bikini, I should be able to without being sexualized.
From the very beginning, it was clear that her main ambitions were fame and fortune, no matter where they originated. Just last night, she was spotted at a strip club with Cardi B, sealing a daring modeling contract that left everyone speechless for all the wrong reasons. I've got all the juicy details, so let's jump right in. She's a court queen, executing inspiring plays that even make her detractors take notice. Meanwhile, Angel has been putting in extra hours both on and off the court in an attempt to outshine Caitlin, but to no avail. Cooper Worth has reported that Caitlin Clark is joining Jason Tatum and the Cavender twins on Forbes' 30 Under 30 list. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. She led the NCAA in scoring, broke numerous three-point records, and single-handedly propelled Iowa to the finals. The fans adore her, the media praises her, even her competitors secretly hold her in high regard. Now, with her name engraved on Forbes' prestigious list, it's evident that Caitlin isn't just excelling in basketball, she's excelling in life. Caitlin Clark's ascent to stardom is one of those tales that seem almost too incredible to believe. At only 22 years old, she's become the face of women's basketball, a record-breaking athlete, and now a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree. But this achievement isn't solely about talent, it's about perseverance, determination, and an almost supernatural ability to shine when it counts the most. Caitlin didn't just play basketball, she revolutionized the perception of the game. And yet, amid all her triumphs, one individual has been quietly, or not so quietly, seething Angel Reese.
She wins the national title. First thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that. Even Caitlin Clark getting knocked down in that game on Saturday, who's standing up applauding but Angel Reese? So she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here.
From the moment they first faced off on the court, the rivalry between Caitlin and Angel was unmistakable. It wasn't merely about competition, it was personal. Caitlin, with her precise shooting and exceptional game awareness, made every move appear effortless. Fans admired her not because of her background, but because of her sheer brilliance. In contrast, Angel was always the outspoken, rebellious player, bringing drama both during games and off the court. While Caitlin let her performance speak for itself, Angel often relied on theatrics. Let's be honest, Caitlin's statistics alone are enough to silence any critic. She led the NCAA in scoring, averaging an impressive 27.8 points per game. That's not just impressive, it's historic. She became a three-point specialist, sinking shots from distances that left defenders helpless. It wasn't uncommon to see her make a shot from nearly half court, turn to the crowd, and flash her signature smirk. Fans loved it. Opponents, not so much.
Started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like.
In conclusion, Angel Reese's ongoing rivalry with Caitlin Clark has become a defining narrative in women's basketball, showcasing both their exceptional talents and the intense competition that fuels the sport. While Caitlin continues to dominate with her remarkable scoring ability and record-breaking performances, Angel's efforts to challenge her success through dramatic gestures and outspoken commentary highlight the pressures that come with being a top athlete. This dynamic has not only captivated fans, but also sparked important conversations about media portrayal, athlete compensation, and the personal struggles behind public personas. Ultimately, Caitlin Clark's unwavering focus on her game and her ability to inspire both teammates and fans set her apart as a true leader in the league. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's actions serve as a reminder of the complexities athletes face in balancing personal ambition with professional excellence. As the WNBA progresses, the interactions between stars like Caitlin and Angel will continue to shape the league's story, driving its growth and emphasizing the importance of resilience, respect, and sportsmanship in achieving lasting success.
The last 4 games, she's trying to get it all in tonight.
And she leaves the floor to a standing ovation.
In an astonishing twist, Kennedy Carter has rapidly shifted from being one of the WNBA's most promising talents to an unrestricted free agent almost overnight. Celebrated for her dynamic scoring ability and exceptional footwork, Carter's sudden departure from the Chicago Sky has sent ripples throughout the league. How could such a gifted athlete find herself sidelined so abruptly? The answer lies in a series of controversial incidents that have propelled her career to a critical crossroads.
These two are going to have a battle tonight. The former Gamecocks has plumbed out herself.
For fans who have followed her journey closely, Carter's descent from grace is both shocking and heartbreaking. She was a player poised to lead her team to remarkable success. Yet now, her name is entangled in one of the league's most discussed controversies. From awe-inspiring performances to locker room drama, her story stands as a cautionary tale about the repercussions when immense talent meets personal turmoil. As we explore this saga further, it becomes evident that this situation transcends basketball. It highlights the evolving culture of the WNBA, the immense pressures of stardom, and the significant impact that public missteps can have. If you're fascinated and eager to dive deeper into this incredible story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support enables us to continue bringing you the most engaging updates in women's basketball.
Which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
The infamous push became a turning point that reverberated throughout the basketball community. During an intense game, emotions soared, and Kennedy Carter shoved Caitlin Clark in a manner that left everyone, fans, players, and officials, astounded. This wasn't just an ordinary on-court clash. It was deeply personal. The push wasn't a spur-of-the-moment reaction. It stemmed from escalating tensions that had been building for weeks. Caitlin Clark, the emerging star of women's basketball, stood there in disbelief as the crowd hushed. For Carter, this gesture was more than a momentary lapse of control. It was a career-altering mistake. While basketball thrives on passion and fervor, actions like these can cross a definitive line. In an era where every move is captured on camera, Carter's impulsive decision in such a high-profile situation ultimately doomed her relationship with the Chicago Sky.
Get myself together. I know that I'm a vital piece of this team, and I know that I need to be in shape. I need to be ready to go. I need to be mentally ready, physically ready. So all of those things were coming into play while I was sick, while I was out. There were still things that I was doing, basketball-oriented, so that when I come back, you guys are like, oh, it's kind of like she didn't miss a beat. Yeah, because you still have to work when you're asleep and you're sick and things like that. So, yeah.
What made this incident particularly disastrous wasn't just the action itself. It was the choice of target. Caitlin Clark isn't merely any player. She's the WNBA's shining star, winning the hearts of countless fans and redefining the league's image. By targeting her, Kennedy Carter didn't simply make headlines. She transformed herself into a cautionary tale within the league.
Whenever I decide to go to the WNBA, I hope it's that same thing. I hope I can continue to grow the game. I hope we're playing in front of sold-out crowds. I hope more teams are added to the league. There's so many tremendous players that don't even get the opportunity to play in the league.
To fully understand the impact of Carter's push, it's essential to recognize Caitlin Clark's significance within the WNBA. She isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon, breaking records, filling stadiums, and attracting new fans. Clark represents the bright future of women's basketball. In 2024, her meteoric rise has captivated not only dedicated basketball enthusiasts, but also casual viewers who tune in to witness her mesmerizing performances on the court. Clark's influence extends beyond her impressive statistics. She embodies what the WNBA aspires to be, a league driven by star power, marketability, and substantial growth. Sponsors are eager to partner with her, fans idolize her, and every move she makes becomes headline news. Therefore, when Carter pushed Clark during that intense moment, it wasn't just poor optics, it was a critical blow to her burgeoning career.
Was trying to redirect a pass. Schenectady! Clark. And drains it! Because she's been Clark!
While the incident involving Caitlin Clark dominated headlines, insiders close to the team reveal that the real issues run much deeper. For months, the locker room has been fraught with tension, with Kennedy Carter at the epicenter of the discord. Teammates have spoken quietly about her attitude, creating an environment that felt more like a pressure cooker than a supportive team. In professional sports, teamwork and chemistry are paramount. When one player disrupts that delicate balance, the consequences can be severe. Carter's fiery personality, which can be an asset on the court, often clashed with the culture the Chicago Sky aimed to build. Reports of missed meetings and public disputes painted her as someone out of sync with her team. In today's WNBA, where reputation and branding are as important as performance, these internal conflicts couldn't be ignored. The Sky's decision to part ways with Carter wasn't just a reaction to a single controversial moment. It was the result of months of unresolved tension reaching a breaking point. In 2024, social media has become a pivotal platform for shaping public perception. When Carter and Angel Reese abruptly unfollowed each other on Instagram, fans immediately sensed something was wrong. This wasn't just immature behavior, it signaled a significant rift within the league. The timing couldn't have been worse for Carter, whose reputation was already under scrutiny. In an era where every social media post is analyzed like game footage, these subtle online actions sent a clear message. Things were not okay. Fans and analysts began to speculate about the source of the discord, with many pointing to the growing tensions between Carter and her teammates. For Carter, this social media drama only intensified her troubles. In a rapidly expanding league capturing more attention than ever, every action, both on and off the court, carries substantial weight. When your Instagram activity becomes part of the narrative, it's evident that the stakes have never been higher. The Chicago Sky's difficult decision to release Carter was not made lightly. She was their leading scorer, the kind of player who could turn a game around in an instant. Yet, despite her undeniable talent, the Sky sent a clear message. No player is bigger than the team. Their official statement was polished and even praised Carter's contributions throughout the season, but a closer examination revealed that the issue extended beyond basketball. References to fit and culture hinted at the underlying problems that ultimately led to her departure. By letting go of Carter, the Sky aimed to convey a powerful message to the rest of the league. Raw talent alone isn't enough. In the current WNBA, teams are focused not only on winning games, but also on building strong brands and fostering positive cultures for the future. For players like Carter, this means that the margin for error has become alarmingly narrow. The WNBA is on the verge of a remarkable era, with record viewership, billion-dollar media deals on the horizon, and sponsors eager to invest. However, growth brings increased scrutiny, and players are now expected to be both role models and athletes. For Carter, navigating this new landscape has been challenging. In a time when every action is under the microscope, her controversies have begun to overshadow her skills. The league's heightened focus on professionalism and marketability means players must embody more than just talent. They must represent the future of women's basketball. Carter's journey is a poignant reminder that in the modern WNBA, image is crucial. The league strives to build something greater than any single player, and those who can't adapt risk being left behind. Kennedy Carter's story is still unfolding, and the rapidly changing dynamics of the WNBA continue to raise the stakes for everyone involved. What are your thoughts on her release?
Great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career.
Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball. Another forever moment for this transformational superstar.
Have you caught what Juju Watkins said about Caitlin Clark? The basketball scene is electric, and the WNBA's usual figures are rushing to stay composed. Picture this: a 19-year-old college athlete exhibiting more class, respect, and leadership than veterans who've been in the league for years. Watkins just spoke some real talk, stirring up a league that clearly needs a reality check. And guess what? Angel Reese isn't brushing off Watkins' support for Caitlin Clark.
After spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine.
Let's set the scene. The WNBA has transformed into a drama series lately, with Angel Reese striving to be the leading star. Take, for example, the exaggerated buzz surrounding her Vogue cover. You'd think she revolutionized the game based on how they're celebrating it.
Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has just earned Time's Athlete of the Year, one of the most esteemed honors in all of sports, and the league barely took notice. It's almost laughable. Clark's accomplishments are monumental, yet it seems the WNBA has chosen to highlight the wrong narrative.
What would you say was the greater accomplishment? The cover of Vogue magazine or Athlete of the Year? Without a doubt, Athlete of the Year is the far greater honor. So I am incredibly confused with the difference in response to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Let's be real for a moment. Vogue is undoubtedly a significant milestone in pop culture, but it's far from the ultimate achievement. On the other hand, Time's Athlete of the Year is a worldwide honor that places Clark alongside legends like LeBron James and Simone Biles, athletes who have transformed their respective sports. The contrast is immense. One accolade celebrates genuine greatness, while the other offers a temporary spotlight. Reese's cover may be trendy, but Clark's award solidifies her legacy.
You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine? Not Female Athlete of the Year, I'm talking about Athlete of the Year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr.
And here's the catch. The WNBA seems unable to prioritize effectively. They're elevating Reese's Vogue feature as if it's the league's most significant event in years. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's remarkable achievements are being dismissed as an afterthought. It's almost humiliating to witness how they're manipulating the narrative, and Juju Watkins is not standing for it.
All kidding aside, I am happy for Angel Reese. Judging by some of her comments, Angel Reese dreams of being a fashion icon, which makes sense. I mean, seriously, what child grows up with dreams of becoming a dump diver in the WNBA? What child grows up with dreams of playing pretend basketball in empty high school gym?
What we're seeing isn't merely a difference in accomplishments. It's a prime example of how the WNBA chooses to direct its focus. Caitlin Clark is elevating the game to new heights, demonstrating that women's basketball deserves a place on the global stage. Angel Reese? She's preoccupied with garnering praise for herself. The distinction couldn't be more apparent. Regarding Caitlin Clark's latest extraordinary achievements, the WNBA has remained silent. It's almost as though they're intimidated by what Clark stands for. This isn't just any athlete we're discussing. Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, a transformative force who's redefining women's basketball. Instead of honoring her as the superstar she truly is, the league is behaving as if she doesn't exist at all. It's ridiculous.
Although I am happy for Angel Reese for achieving her lifelong dream of landing the cover of Vogue magazine and being viewed as a fashion icon, I thought the celebration from the media was a bit strange. Some might even call it hypocritical.
So how did the WNBA react to Clark being named Time's Athlete of the Year? Oh, you're going to find this amusing. Instead of rolling out the red carpet or even sending a simple congratulatory tweet, they chose to ignore her. That's right, complete silence. It's as if they've slipped into an alternate reality where Clark's monumental success doesn't even matter. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the WNBA is busy pretending Clark isn't carrying the league on her shoulders, the broader sports world has taken notice. Clark isn't just being compared to her peers in women's basketball anymore. She's being mentioned alongside the biggest names in all of sports. That's a big deal, folks. And yet, the WNBA seems determined to treat her as an afterthought.
Angel Reese was celebrated for landing the cover of some magazine that no one reads anymore, while Caitlin Clark, she was vilified.
You'd expect the league to be thrilled about having a superstar who single-handedly fills arenas. We're talking about sold-out games wherever she plays. Meanwhile, most WNBA games struggle to attract spectators. The contrast is immense. But instead of capitalizing on Clark's star power, the league is treating her success as a challenge to be managed rather than a victory to be celebrated.
This is how Caitlin Clark was treated by jealous players who directly benefit from her star power. It's also how she was treated by those in the media who also benefit from the drawing power of Caitlin Clark.
What's genuinely unfolding here? It seems the WNBA is apprehensive about success, particularly when it's embodied by Caitlin Clark. She's drawing massive crowds and setting new records, yet instead of embracing this momentum, the league appears to be overlooking it. It's a peculiar example of self-sabotage.
Caitlin Clark was pressured by the media to share her honor with unknown and undeserving WNBA players who contributed absolutely nothing to the elevation of the league last season.
And here's the twist. While the WNBA keeps dropping the ball, other players are stepping up to give Clark the recognition she truly deserves. Enter Juju Watkins, the 19-year-old phenom who's wise beyond her years. Watkins openly lauded Clark's influence, demonstrating more maturity than the entire WNBA combined. Just imagine that. A teenager acknowledging greatness while the league itself chooses to ignore it.
I have been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support.
Clark isn't merely a star. She's a movement. She's transcending the sport, standing alongside the biggest names in all of athletics. Yet, instead of celebrating her, the WNBA is treating her rise as something to fear. It's downright comical. As the league continues its awkward dance around Clark's success, Watkins is out here dropping truth bombs that have everyone talking.
But after reading her recent interview with Fox News, Juju Watkins, she has earned some of my respect. After reading this interview with Fox News, it became abundantly clear that Juju Watkins, she gets it.
So what's the WNBA's ultimate plan here? Are they genuinely expecting Clark's impact to simply vanish? Spoiler, that's not going to happen. She's drawing unparalleled attention to women's basketball, and their reaction is complete silence. Meanwhile, athletes like Watkins are demonstrating that the next generation understands the significance. They recognize the bigger picture.
Fox asked her about the influx of attention that Caitlin Clark brought to women's basketball. Here is what Juju Watkins said. So many new fans in the sport can sometimes be a headache. Not everyone knows what they're talking about, but it's great for the sport. The fact that people are watching is enough in itself. We would like it to be positive, but it's not always going to be like that. As long as we continue to raise the numbers and viewership goes up, I think that's all we can ask for.
Juju Watkins isn't just thriving on the court, she's showing the league how to truly embrace success. At only 19, she's already accomplishing what the WNBA should have achieved years ago, giving Caitlin Clark the recognition she deserves and demonstrating that women's basketball belongs on the global stage. It's almost poetic. While the WNBA falters, the youngest voices are stepping up to lead the way. Get ready, WNBA fans, because the season just delivered one of its most electrifying finales yet. As the curtains close on this year's action-packed games, Phoenix Mercury's standout Sophie Cunningham, teammate of the legendary Diana Taurasi, has sparked intense conversations with her bold comments about Caitlin Clark that have everyone buzzing. But that's only scratching the surface. Caitlin Clark didn't just shine this season. She redefined what's possible on the court. From shattered records and jaw-dropping plays to leading the Indiana Fever through an unexpected transformation, her impact was undeniable. And here's the twist. Some of the league's seasoned veterans are feeling the heat. Yes, you heard right. This rising star made such waves that it stirred the egos of established stars. Stay tuned as we break down all the highlights and dive into Cunningham's remarks that have everyone talking. In a recent interview, Sophie shared this eye-opening insight about Caitlin Clark.
But I think they've done a great job in the league as well. I think the physicality and all that they're going to get used to, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it. And I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing.
Can you believe what's unfolding in the WNBA? A seasoned teammate of the legendary Diana Taurasi is openly lauding a rookie, and that's a rare sight in the league. Sophie Cunningham isn't stopping there. She went on to say, when it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league. But I think that's a really fun thing. If you have anything negative to say about the viewership and everything this rookie class is doing, I just think you're not capitalizing on it and you might be a little jealous. Sophie just unleashed a bombshell against anyone criticizing Caitlin Clark's success and her fellow rookies. Essentially, she's arguing that if you're not thrilled about the league's growth, the issue lies with you. But why is Sophie, an established player, so passionately defending Caitlin Clark and the new rookies? The answer is straightforward: impact. Clark isn't just excelling on the court, she's reshaping the perception of the WNBA. Since her debut, viewership has surged. Stadiums that once had empty seats are now buzzing with fans. People aren't just tuning in to Indiana Fever games. They're buying tickets, jerseys, and buzzing about the WNBA on social media like never before. And here's the kicker. Clark is achieving all this as a rookie. She didn't need years to adapt or build a fan base. She arrived and is already a force to be reckoned with. That's why Sophie and other insightful players recognize that Clark's success translates to the WNBA's success as a whole. But Clark's influence goes beyond scoring. She's redefining the point guard role in the WNBA. Her assists are masterpieces. She spots angles that others miss and delivers passes that leave commentators in awe. The craziest part? She's doing all this while facing defenses specifically designed to stop her. Entire teams have had to rethink their strategies just to contain Caitlin Clark, yet she continues to dominate. This is why veterans like Sophie Cunningham are so impressed. Clark isn't just playing well, she's changing the game, forcing teams and players to adapt and elevate the entire league. Now, let's dive into what Cunningham mentioned that's stirring up the league, the jealousy and criticism targeting Caitlin Clark. It sounds unbelievable, right? A rookie shaking up the league to the point of making veterans envious? But that's the reality. Some players and fans are complaining about the spotlight Clark is stealing, claiming it overshadows more experienced players. But let's be honest, this is pure jealousy. As Sophie Cunningham aptly pointed out, those who gripe about Clark's visibility aren't capitalizing on it and might just be a little envious. And she's spot on. Clark's success doesn't take away from any other player's value. In fact, increased attention benefits everyone in the WNBA. More fans mean more revenue, which can lead to higher salaries, better playing conditions, and more opportunities for all players. Clark is expanding the league's market, attracting new fans who might never have watched a WNBA game before. Once hooked, these fans aren't just following Clark, they're discovering all the incredible talent the league has to offer. That's why savvy players like Cunningham are embracing the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. They understand that a rising tide lifts all boats. Clark's triumphs are the WNBA's triumphs. And let's face it, Clark deserves all the hype. She's not just racking up numbers, she's redefining what's possible in women's basketball. Her passes, court vision, and scoring ability are at a level rarely seen from a rookie. So to those feeling jealous or critical, here's some advice. Instead of complaining, ride the wave. Use this surge in attention to showcase your own talents. Because what Caitlin Clark is doing is opening doors for all WNBA players. Moreover, Clark's impact on the WNBA's popularity is likely to keep rising. We're already witnessing a significant boost in viewership and fan engagement. If this trend continues, we could be on the verge of a new golden era for professional women's basketball, leading to more investments in the league, better contracts for players, increased media coverage, and possibly even expansion to new cities. The possibilities are endless. Additionally, Clark is inspiring the next generation. How many young athletes are watching her now, dreaming of becoming the next Caitlin Clark? She's fueling a new wave of talent that will only strengthen the WNBA further. Finally, let's consider Clark's legacy. If she maintains this trajectory, we're not just talking about a great player. We could be witnessing the rise of one of the greatest of all time. She has the potential to be to the WNBA what legends like Michael Jordan and LeBron James are to the NBA. However, it's not all smooth sailing. As Clark continues to dominate and draw attention, the pressure mounts. Expectations are sky high. She set a tremendous standard in her rookie season, and everyone expects her to surpass it every game. What happens if she has a bad night or goes through a scoring slump? Critics will be quick to pounce. Then there's the physical toll. The WNBA season is long and demanding, especially for a rookie. Clark is logging more minutes, facing tougher defenses, and traveling extensively. Can she maintain this level of performance through the season and into the playoffs? And let's not overlook the mental strain. With every move scrutinized and every word analyzed, the pressure is immense. Will she be able to stay focused and continue performing at an elite level? So, what do you think? Will Caitlin Clark keep dominating and break all the records we've discussed? Or will other teams find a way to challenge her? And what are your thoughts on Sophie Cunningham's comments? Do you agree that the criticism Clark is facing stems from jealousy? Or do you believe there are legitimate concerns?